Chronic illness is a reality that affects millions of people around the world. It can manifest in various forms and can greatly impact one's physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Dealing with a chronic illness can be a challenging and isolating experience, often leaving individuals feeling helpless and alone. In such a difficult time, it is natural for one to question the role of God in their life and why they have been dealt this difficult hand. As a person of faith, I too have faced my fair share of struggles with chronic illness. However, my journey has led me to a deeper understanding of God's presence and purpose in my life, despite the challenges I face. In this blog, I want to share my thoughts on how God can be a source of strength and hope for those dealing with chronic illness. One of the first things that come to mind when discussing God and chronic illness is the question of why. Why would a loving and all-powerful God allow someone to suffer from a chronic illness? This is a question that many people struggle with, and the answer may not be clear or satisfying. But instead of focusing on the why, I have found it more helpful to shift my perspective towards how. How can I find God in the midst of my illness? How can I use this experience to grow closer to Him? The truth is, we live in a broken world where suffering is inevitable. However, as Christians, we believe that God is present in our suffering and can use it for our good. The Bible tells us that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Romans 8:28. This does not mean that our suffering is good, but rather that God can bring good out of it. I have personally experienced this in my journey with chronic illness. Although it has been a difficult and painful experience, it has also brought me closer to God. It has forced me to rely on Him for strength and comfort, and it has taught me to trust in His plan for my life. I have also seen how my illness has allowed me to connect with others who are going through similar struggles, and I have been able to provide support and encouragement to them through my faith. Another aspect of God's presence in chronic illness is His promise of healing. As Christians, we believe in a God who is capable of performing miracles and healing the sick. However, this does not mean that He will always heal us from our illnesses. Sometimes God's ultimate plan for us may involve dealing with a chronic illness for the rest of our lives. This can be a difficult truth to accept, but it is important to remember that our ultimate healing comes not from physical restoration, but from our eternal relationship with God. In the midst of my struggles, I have found solace in the words of Jesus when He says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." John 16:33. This verse reminds me that although my illness may be a part of my earthly existence, it does not define me or determine my ultimate destiny. God's promise of eternal life with Him gives me hope and strength to endure whatever challenges come my way. Finally, I have learned that God is not only present in our suffering, but also in our moments of weakness. Chronic illness can often leave us feeling physically and emotionally drained. It can be a constant battle to maintain a positive attitude and continue with daily tasks. But in these moments of weakness, God's grace and strength are made perfect. He promises that my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Through my own experience, I have learned to lean on God's strength when I am feeling weak and to trust in His plan for my life. I have seen how He has provided me with the resources and support I need to face my illness with courage and hope. And I've come to understand that my weaknesses are not a hindrance, but an opportunity for God's strength to shine through in my life. In conclusion, dealing with chronic illness is a difficult and often overwhelming experience. It can be easy to question the role of God in our lives and wonder why He would allow us to suffer. But as Christians, we can find comfort in the knowledge that God is present in our suffering and can use it for our good. He promises to heal us, whether physically or spiritually, and His strength is made perfect in our weakness. My hope is that this blog serves as a reminder that despite our struggles, God's love, grace and presence are always with us.